I think that the better question would be, does this demonstrate how man creates his own religion, man creates his own God from natural events to which man cannot understand? If you were to go with Isaac's statement here, and Isaac, I understand what you're saying. If we presuppose that this God exists, let's just, for all shits and giggles, let's just say this God Yahweh existed. Now, if this God Yahweh existed, then him destroying all the people all over the world, since at that time frame people were henotheistic, and all the guys, according to the Sumerian story, had divvied up, according to Anu, had divvied up the tribes of man to Ishtar is the god of the Indus people, Marduk is the god of the Egyptian people, and so on and so forth, and all the guys divvied up, all the Anunnakis divvied up providences for them to rule over different tribes of man in order to stop the Anunnaki from fighting, because that's where that thought process, that's where that idea comes from the Sumerian story. Then why would the other gods allow Enlil, in this case Enlil would be Yahweh, why would he allow Enlil to kill off everybody else's people? I'm sure the other Anunnaki would have had a major problem with that. But if you think about these other stories, let's take for instance the Indian story. The god Manu knew that a flood was coming, and he came and warned a couple of fishermen about this thing happening. And they got on their boats and got some animals and followed a fish and survived a flood. So this would indicate that the different gods all knew this flood was happening, and that it was more of a natural event that they could not stop. So therefore the different gods went and warned the different people in the provinces that they were the god over. So therefore, this is why all of them, over the 200 and some odd, 250 odd flood myths, that each one of them talks about their deity or one of their deities coming first to warn some person or group of people of this deluge that's coming, and then second, coming back to restart their civilization. Those are the commonalities in these flood stories, and almost all of them are coastal. Almost all of them are coastal stories. So you could look at it that way, that according to the Sumerians, all the gods went and told all their people. But if it was just Yahweh was the only God, then he would have allowed, then he was killing everybody else's kids, everybody else's tribes. And that would not have been allowed, which would have created a whole nother war with the gods. So I understand your point and what you're saying, but the reality is just this. In and around 15 to 12,000 BCE, at the end of the Younger Dryas Ice Age, most likely high solar activity occurred, which melted all the ice from the ice age in about 6 days and rose the sea levels 400 feet. And for each one of those people, in their mind, their area was the entire world. And so they all wrote as if the entire world was destroyed, but only their little world was destroyed, and therefore they exaggerated the myth based on their knowledge of the world, which creates your whole world flood, your worldwide floods. But really, it was just a massive deluge that covered large portions of land that was coastal, and the majority of people live coastal, and they didn't have a way of understanding this naturally occurring event, and so therefore they attribute it to their own individual gods. The Yahweh story is stronger simply because it was picked up by the Romans, and the Romans infiltrated all of Europe, North Africa, the Levant, and it became a story that still lingers today because of government and military. That's it. So you have a great day. Great question and statement. So you have a great day. And remember always, you got to free yourself to be yourself, because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibrations.